Okay, so you can manipulate the ocean, stuff like that. I see you got control over the winds. That's pretty nice. Oh man, you have control over the sun itself. All right, that's pretty cool. What do? Oh, you flash. Is that it? Before we hop into this ranking of the 4 graces, please do me a favor and drop your own ranking of the 4 graces in the comment section down below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up guys, I got the pencil here, and here we are to rank the 4 graces from 7 deadly sins. So that means we got flash, we got ocean, we got sun, we got tornado, and let's hop into the ranking of them. Let's get right into it with number 4. Alright, so y'all could probably tell by the intro, Flash is the most basic of the graces, and like I get it, it's an amp all around, it's just like a base amp, and then it specifically amps your speed, but is the least interesting, gives you no control over any fundamental aspect. I mean, you can have like shining of Flash based attacks or something like that, but honestly, in terms of all the graces themselves, it's kind of the weakest for me, because what do you really do with it other than, oh, I'm gonna go fast, I'm too fast, like, what else is there? Is there anything of value on top of that, or am I just Speedy Gonzalez trapped in a goddess body, or human, I guess, if I get it? But still, I don't know. Flash seems like the most basic, boring of all of them, especially considering other graces could amp your speed. Other graces could act as better defensive techniques rather than using your speed. And I know while it's very likely that Ludashell has his own version of Domain of God, I don't see it. And man, I just really would like something like that. Like Ludashell, he himself uses the power very, very well, like as a complement to his swordsmanship. You know, on top of already having amazing skill, you complement that with speed and you're basically unstoppable unless you run into someone who's faster than you. Soldiers. But then it's like, outside of that situation, what does Flash really do for you other than act like a basic amp, which I can get with every other grace? And then on top of that, what does it do outside of simply, I don't know. That's it. That's the thing. It doesn't even seem to be that useful outside of the fact that I become speedy. And like, I guess maybe my light attacks get stronger. Like Flash, I'm assuming always had to do with like Ludashell's proficiency with the light beams. Like he's one of the ones who uses light constructs and stuff like that the most. But it's not like other goddesses can't access at least either the same or lesser versions of that. Because you look at Mael and he fires off arrows of salvation like it's no problem, like a finger gun. So I feel like Flash doesn't really provide enough on its own to be completely useful to me, or like on the top of my list. It's still good to have. It's a free amp, and unlike the commandments, it doesn't come with a backside or a downside, so you're really set if you have it. But if I had to choose one, if I had to say which is the most interesting, if I had to say which is the one I would sacrifice my human lifespan for to have, I don't know if Flash is it. It's just, I'm not rocking with it. Like, what? Someone sell Flash to me in the comments. Like, I got to know, like, what's the point other than being Speedy Gonzalez, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Roadrunner fused together and raised to like the infinite power? I don't really get the point of Flash, especially when I can get what Flash offers anywhere else. Like, it doesn't have enough return for me in terms of all the other graces. It's not even like, that's the thing. If I'm a goddess, there really is no risk return. It's just return. Like, I'm getting free speed and a free amp because I have a 1/8 of the supreme deity's power. But at the same time, it's like I could have another version of an 1/8 of the supreme deity's power that's way better to me. But that may just be me. Like, if y'all got some opinions on Flash that could change your boy's mind, I love to hear them. I don't know. Flash just is super underwhelming to me. Speaking of being underwhelming, no, I'm kidding. Let's just move on to number 3. Alright, now you may think I'm a menace for this, and I kind of think I'm a menace for this myself, but I'm going to put Sun/Sunshine/ whatever you want to call it at number 3. And here's why. I don't like the fact that I can be caught lacking. Legitimately, that's the only reason. The fact that I rely, for the most part, unless I'm pulling the one Ultimate Eskin or suddenly getting mind manip by Gother, I'm just able to be caught off guard. Like, if you catch me sleeping at nighttime, I'm done for, son. Like, I don't have any amp, I don't have nothing. I'm just sitting there waiting for day to come around, and I'm not even the strongest until like late noon, and that's not worth it to me. Like, Sunshine is very, very cool in what you can do with it. Like, Cruel Sun's amazing, the ability to manipulate fire, being completely immune to fire, all that, really, really cool. I like that a lot. But the thing that gets me the most is like, I'm lacking for a good 75% of the day when you think about it. Because, like, I mean, early morning Escanor is strong, and I'm assuming late evening or like almost evening Escanor is pretty strong too, like late afternoon. But at the same time, it's not like it's hard to tell what my weakness is. You wait for the appropriate time. Like, you don't have to fight me. you see, uh-oh, it's almost noontime. Let me run away from the guy who gets stronger as the sun rises. And then you do. I wouldn't even get mad at you. I'd be mad when you snuck up on me at nighttime and I get washed. But in terms of just regularly, I don't blame you for attacking me while I'm weaker. The only reason it's higher than Flash is because it's more interesting to me. Because it comes with that side drawback. So like in terms of pure interest, I probably would rank Sun higher, but this is kind of like half interest, half I would take the Grace myself, and I don't want to be debuffed for a majority of the day. Like, the amp starts when the sun rises, not like, it's not like Escanor reaches his weakest point at midnight, and he's like decently strong throughout most of nighttime. It's just that when he hits midnight, exactly when the sun's on the opposite side of the earth perfectly at midnight, then he hits like the 15 power level and he's the weakest of the weakest. No, the moment the sun sets, I'm done, son, and that's no fun. Like, I don't want to get, I'm done, son. I did that accidentally. But the thing is, I'm sitting there like, what's the risk return? Like, if I'm a human, fine, I guess I'll die then, because it's one of the strongest graces, and I'm probably gonna die if I'm a human with any of the graces anyway. But even if I'm a goddess, I'm caught lacking half the time. And Supreme Deity forbid I run into somebody like Chandler who can just drop the nighttime on me whenever he feels like it, and suddenly, boom, I'm completely depowered if I'm human. And maybe, I'm not sure how True Knight would interact with Mael, because Mael dispels it, but that's because he comes in from the outside of it or something like that. Like, he specifically makes a sun to dispel the darkness from the outside. I'm not sure what would happen if Chandler casted True Knight around Mael if he was fighting Mael right then and there. But I'm assuming since he didn't recast it, maybe it wouldn't work on a true Sunshine user, a true Sun user. Maybe not. If that's the case, then I'm fine. But even still, a majority of the time, I'm getting smoked by a ton of other top tiers in the verse. Or not even top tiers. Ludishel smokes me half the time. Zeldris smokes me a majority of the time. Meliodas smokes me a majority of the time. Elizabeth smokes me a majority of the time. Like, I get smoked. Unless it's like, catch me at 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Like, catch me in the morning. Don't catch me lacking in the afternoon. That's all it takes. And here's the thing. If I can survive, or no, if my opponent can survive the one, I'm done. Like, what am I supposed to do? If they manage to live that, or if they just manage to run, like, think about it. If I see someone using the one, I'm not going to stay there and fight them. And that's even if the one applies to the regular goddesses. We've never seen Mael use it. We don't get to see if, no, it doesn't really. Because Mael doesn't get buffer. He doesn't change a lot when he has sun. He stays the same size. So I'm wondering if, like, he even has a variation of the one. But for, like, a human wielding the grace who has access to the one, let's say, like an Escanor, I'm not staying there. I'm running away for one whole minute, coming back, and then washing you again. Like, unless I'm on my Meliodas mentality where I'm trying to bully you at your strongest, or my Koku mentality, really, I'm not staying and fighting you when you're at your strongest state. I'm probably not even going to be in the general area while you're growing in power. I'll just leave and wait till it's 12:01, time to go get some smoke. That's the thing. Sunshine, its weakness, it's good because it balances it out, and it's super strong when it's at its peak, but until its peak, it's kind of not worth the risk return to me. So that's why it has to be number 3. But enough of talking about number 3 and ragging on Sunshine. Let's move on to number 2. Alright, I like Tornado so much just because of all the unbelievably annoying things I could do with it. Like, the thing is, Tornado as a we can see Tornado. We can, as in the audience, because, you know, Nakaba has to draw the wind. But you can't really take a gander at wind when it's being used against you. Like, it'll literally just hit you out of nowhere, and that's the menace I would be with Tornado. Like, one, it's a super good defensive ability, because, like, you see how Sariel uses it all the time. Like, he will just pop a wind barrier, and unless you're Derriere, aka a menace, and punching straight through it despite me grinding your flesh away, and or you're someone like Esteroso with 2 commandments who's strong enough to actually break through it because I'm in a human vessel, I think it's pretty darn hard to beat, because you can never, unless, I mean, you can probably sense the wind because magic infused wind, but in just regular context, if I'm just chilling, floating in the air, and then suddenly you get hit with the wind blast, what are you supposed to do to stop me? And of course, if need be, I'm just throwing you in another dimension real quick and leaving you there. And considering it seems like Sariel on his own can sort of manipulate clouds too, like, I could literally just throw you in there and then manipulate precipitation to make a thunderstorm. I could do some menace stuff with Tornado. I think that's what I enjoy the most. Like, the fact that I can just go crazy with it Like, I could either be an offensive menace by simply just slamming you through the ground, through buildings and everything, slicing you apart with extremely sharp, finely controlled wind molecule. I could do whatever I want, basically. And the thing is, most normal people wouldn't be able to see it, and if I'm as powerful as Sariel, a lot of people won't even be able to defend against it. I'm sort of have the ultimate offense and the ultimate defense, and the only issue that happens is if you break through the barrier, or if you're my relative in some sort of way, you can hit me. And I don't like getting hit, but it's very hard to hit me, because even the thing is, Sariel uses the wind barrier basically, but he can likely use it offensively and defensively. Like, he usually just keeps people out by swirling winds around him, but as I'm swirling winds around myself, I could literally just push you away. Like, on some pain type beat, like almighty push you away just through wind manipulation. Like, that's the thing. Wind is almost like a pseudo, it's the weird, it's gonna be weird to hear me say this, but it's like a pseudo form of gravity manipulation. Because, like, if I'm slamming you into the ground with enough force because of wind, it's like I'm increasing gravity on you. If I'm pulling you in with enough wind, it's like I'm attracting you with gravity. If I'm pushing you away, it's like I'm pushing you away with gravity. It's stuff like that. Like, I like the concepts of how far I could go with Tornado, and once again, it is a flat amp. It is a flat amp like Flash, but while it increases all my stats, obviously because raw power, it's also giving me a perk, which is wind manipulation, which I would really, really enjoy to have. It's just free. Oh, sorry, buddy. You decided to come into my vicinity. You entered my range. Let me get you out of here. And I just instantly throw you away. That's the thing. In concept, I wish we got to see it more. Like, I wanted to see Sariel have more fights just so we could see the upper limits of Tornado. Because I think he sort of got bullied a bit too hard, a bit too quickly. Like, he showed off for a little bit against 1 Commandment Estarossa, but then 2 Commandment Estarossa popped up and he was sort of overwhelmed. And then 3 Commandment Estarossa popped up and turned into 3 Commandment Mael and once again was overwhelmed. So we really got to see just basic Tornado usage, but I feel like from what little we saw, from how finely he can manipulate it into sharp blades, to how he can use it as a shield, to how he can use it as a push and a pull, to how he can manipulate just massive tornadoes, and how he can, like, tornado you into the dimension. I found that so cool. Like, when Estarossa gets spun away in the tornado, he plops underwater and then he's in the domain of God. So, like, I would love, you're just fighting me normally and suddenly I'm like, you know what, enough of this, and I hit you with the tornado, and when the winds fade away, once you're finally able to, like, regain your sense of focus, you're not even there anymore. And I wonder what the domain of God looks like. See, they say it's made with their graces, not just their own, so maybe they don't have access to it normally. But if that's just a existing place that they happen to make with their graces, or they can make, like, part of it on demand, I would love to trap someone in a wind dimension and then just leave, because unless you're as strong as me, you ain't breaking out. It's just a cool thing. I love Tornado so much for the possible applications of it. I know Sun and Flash technically have hypothetical applications, but I feel like overall Tornado takes the cake just a little bit more because of how diverse it could be. And it could also just be useful for regular situations. If I throw a Cruel Sun at a remote to try and get it off the table, it's going to erase the remote. I won't be able to do anything with it. And I also have to suppress myself constantly because I'm constantly releasing heat. Meanwhile, Tornado, I'm sort of just chilling. And, like, if I'm sitting on the couch and the remote's too far away, I just wind it over to me. And I know that sounds super lazy, it sounds super basic, but I love thinking about the powers, especially in, like, super diverse, insane worlds, just in regular senses. Like, in everyday human life, like, yo, what would be nice to have with this power? What would be nice to do? That's what's nice to do to me, just to be able to just freely manipulate the winds, just be like, oh, man, I really do not feel like driving today. Well, time to fly. It just sounds like a whole ton of fun stuff to me. That's Tornado. That's number 2. How could number 1 be any better? Let's get right into that. It's ocean, bro. It's ocean, bro. Like, come on now. It's ocean, bro. Like, what are you supposed to... I can spawn water from anywhere and everywhere. I literally have an entire dimension where I can just drop you in an ocean and let you drown. Like, unless you can fly, good luck, buddy. You're stuck there. And I love it. It's so... Ocean is like wind, except water. And I know that sounds dumb, but I think it's so cool. And the thing is, Ocean is arguably even better defensively than Tornado, because meanwhile, while Sariel did get pierced directly in the eye and was forced to heal afterwards, if that was Tarmiel, my man could have just phased right on through it, because he can become water at any point, and then he could just right on in and keep it moving. I love Ocean because, like, that, outside of, like, Sunshine, really, is the true melding, at least to me, of both Grace and Goddess. Like, it's truly that proper fusion where Tarmiel himself is basically the Grace, because he can turn himself into water, he can manipulate it, he can take the properties of it and manipulate himself around like that. But at the same time, he also has complete control to spawn water anywhere. He makes an entire ocean in another dimension. He can do whatever he wants. I need an offensive weapon, I stab you with a water spear. I need a defensive wall, either just throw up a wall of water or let you slide right on through me, because I'm literally water, bro. Like, even if you're a steaming hot villain, like I run into someone with, oh no, golly gee willikers, I've run into someone who is super, I throw him in the ocean. Like, literally just transfer him and be like, oh, looks like your time has come, buddy, time to go to the domain of God, and I just drop you in there, and suddenly you're just chilling underwater, like, oh, sure, go ahead, burn the entire ocean away. I want to see you leave, though. I want to see you go. I want to see you exit there. Do what you will. That's the thing. Water in the ocean. What the heck did I just say? Ocean has so much free properties to it just because it's water, and because of how well it's fused with Tarmiel. Like, this, the way that you can hypothetically use it. Like, the thing is, we don't get to see, once again, just like Tornado, we don't really get to see the upper limits of Ocean in my mind. Like, I would have loved to see Ocean used in like a restraining fashion, or in a fashion that completely allows Tarmiel to just like wombo combo, bro. Like, literally, he could summon water from the dimension, rip you into it, proceed to drown you, drag you to the bottom of the dimension, spit you back out into a hit, and then like just go crazy with it, go dumb, go stupid, if you will. Like, I feel like Ocean is like almost, it's probably even more freeform than Wind, because the thing about Wind is that it has that like little defensive gap. Like, if you are determined enough, if you don't mind your body getting shredded, even a prime Archangel can be punched through. But if I'm basically immune to all your punches, and as long as you aren't Steamy Gonzalez, not to talk of Speedy Gonzalez, then I may be in trouble. But even then, I can literally just throw you into a dimension and I don't even have to worry about you anymore. I mean, sure, you'll probably break out, because if you're relative to me, you can break out. But by that point, I'm gone, buddy. Like, that's the thing. Ocean is, at the same time, the best offensive Grace, at least in terms of it's a flat statistic amp, on top of the idea that you can just manipulate whatever water you need into whatever situation you would need it for, such as you can probably manipulate it into hands, you can manipulate it into spears, into swords, and whatever. But then on top of that, it's an amazing defensive attack, or not defensive attack, it's an amazing defensive tool, because then I can use it as a shield, or I could literally just let you punch straight on through me. And honestly, it would be cool if Tarmiel was able to like inject the water into somebody. Like, he manages to like cut through Estarossa, and Estarosa's like, come on now, I can regenerate. And then as Estarossa goes to regenerate, his arm claps right over the water that's still like sitting there, and Estarossa just assumes it's gonna slip out. But then Tarmiel's like, oh, by the way, buddy, you don't have a bloodstream, and just rips straight through. Like, that's the thing. You could do so much with Ocean, and theoretically you could do that with Wind, but I feel like Wind would be way more difficult to muster that with. While with Ocean, you can just go wild, you can go nuts. So that's why it's my favorite. I think it's just the sheer possibilities, the upper limits of it, and I just would love to see more. Maybe we are going to see more, though, because we know the Archangels technically aren't dead, so they could all legitimately just come back, same graces, more power, stuff like that. I'm actually super excited to see how they'll react after the movie if the Supreme Deity dies, because like, I know they've changed their ways for the most part, but at the same time, that was their big mama leader, and she gave them their power. So I'm really interested to see how they react and interact with the new world of Seven Deadly Sins, 16 years later, if they manage to come back in time for the series. Super excited to see. But there we go. That's my list of the Graces. That's how I would rank them personally. How would you rank them, though? I know some of y'all are going to be mad that Sunshine isn't higher, but I'm sitting here like, but do I really want to be weak for a majority of the day, though? And I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, Flash is a flat amp, so maybe it should be above Sunshine. And like, you're kind of right, but man, Flash is boring. But that's my thoughts. Please tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. And this is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.